Yeah,
Hey guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we got one of our Discord members, Joku. He's a great guy. It's gonna be interesting to type. You don't have to go in anything you're not comfortable with. What you do say we will use. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Joku, 28, live in the UK.
So, how'd you get in typology?
Fucking boredom, bro. I think like around the start of COVID, um, I found it and yeah, got hooked, man.
hmm what do you like about it? What do you dislike about it?
I like that it gives me the ability to kind of understand people in a way that I didn't previously.
hmm
I think I'd always struggled to understand people and like the motivations for things and why they did things.
hmm
Um, and Also because I do think that the idea has merit. Um, because now that I've been into it for a few years, I can see where people have like taken these ideas from. Like I'm watching it and I can actually see the value of it. Um, so as much as it's a hobby, I think it's also something that eventually is going to progress into hopefully a well fleshed out part of psychology.
Okay. What do you dislike about it?
Talking to community, bro. uh, uh, no, I don't think anything about it necessarily I dislike. Um, like there are parts of certain systems that I don't like, and that doesn't mean the system's bad as such. It's just that like I won't use that as a way to kind of derive any information through the system.
hmm
Like um, if I am looking at Enneagram, for example, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the triads, trying to ascertain, like, if you are really into like Catherine Fauvre and you're into triad type, you will try and ascertain like what's the core type, what the two fixes. I think that's a terror to kind of get people using the instrument, so to speak.
Okay. Okay. What do you think are your best skills?
I'm not sure it helped me, bro. uh, Fuck, dude. Um, I think problem solving probably, but I would say more in like a reactive sense. I'm not a very good long term problem solver. But I'm good at doing things on the fly, um, sort of as and when.
Okay. What's the ideal job for you?
Ideal job, musician for
Why a
sure,
musician?
or like yeah, musician or like a studio engineer.
Why?
I've always liked music. Um, it's fun, but it's also something that like I don't think I'll get bored of necessarily. I can't really work jobs where I get bored because then I don't want to do anything and then I just leave because I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, well, I've done this now, so I might as well go and do the next thing. Um, which I've gotten better with age because at a certain point you got responsibilities, you can't be doing that shit. You have
hmm
to kind of stick to whatever you choose. But yeah,
That's hilarious. Like you gotta stick to whatever you choose. That's hilarious. What do you think your insecurities come from?
oh, being misunderstood or being manipulated, I think. Two things I'm constantly on the lookout for, I think.
Okay. So
Why do you feel misunderstood?
Part of it's on me, part of it's because I'm not the most effective communicator. But then I think there's like a latent feeling of, anticipating being misunderstood because of like childhood stuff or um, being conditioned as being someone who's not an effective communicator. Then later in life, when you get better at communicating, you're kind of not outgrowing the feeling of like, this person's not going to understand what I'm saying, sort of thing, you know?
Okay, so it's because I mean, yeah, I guess there's a couple ways I could look at it. Like, yeah, like what you're saying right now, or being misunderstood in the sense where you're trying to help, but people are like offended by like when you're trying to help.
Yeah.
You get that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
mhm. What do you think are three words to describe yourself?
Um, Fuck, dude. Big egg. Goof.
Big egg goof.
What?
Big egg goof.
Big egg goof?
Yeah, man.
You got to explain that.
Uh, I've got an egg head. That's where the egg comes from. I'm big
Hmm
and I'm a goof.
hmm
Oh, that's probably the most original answer that we've got.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. What do you think you need to work on the most?
A lot of things, man. Um, Being more cognizant of other people in my life. Um, I can get like very like tunnel visioned when I'm doing things, and in the process, I kind of like lose sight of the things around me. Um, I can also be pretty callous and like I wouldn't say uncaring because I do care, but like externally, like it would seem like I'm uncaring. Um, I think that's the biggest thing.
How are you as like 15 to 20? You take us back to
Say
15
that
to
again,
20. How are you doing like the age from 15 to 20?
bro. Oh, can I say anything on air? Just like there's no,
Anything you
yeah,
want to, man.
bro. I was a complete degenerate. I was out all the time. I finished school at 15. I went to college. College in the UK is different to in America.
Mhm.
It's like 2 years of specialist school. And I was going out all the time. I was being a piece of shit. My mum kicked me out, so I actually had to move country. She made me move with my grandmother, which I mean, she was right for doing it, man. But at the time, it was kind of like, although I meant moving countries because obviously we live in the UK. My grandmother's in Ireland, so I had to relocate. Um, I had to go back to school as well for like 9 months. Didn't like it. Came back and then gained a little bit of perspective about how I was treating people, and I think around like 18, 19, I think about 19, I started, 18, I became a chef. That's when I started.
Mm.
I was a chef for about 7 years from that point, and being a chef really helped me, gave me a lot of discipline, gave me some purpose. You know, it was something to get out of bed in the morning for, if you know what I mean.
hmm Oh, damn, man. Awesome. Awesome. Um, when you said you were like a degenerate, what do you think was causing you to be a degenerate? Was the root cause?
Um, Not respecting the necessity for authority. I've always been anti-authoritarian. Um, but the older you get, you have to recognize that like you're being a childish piece of shit. You know, authority exists for a reason. But at the time, I didn't understand that. Arrogance was very arrogant, and I think just kind of being unhappy in a sense as well. Um, I don't think I was very happy at that period in that period of my life. Um, Not that that's an excuse for the behavior, but you know, more so just something that might have influenced it. Uh, yeah.
Okay. How do you go about learning something new?
Um, Depends what it is.
Mm, let's say a new instrument like
So,
music.
oh, I just do it, man. I think generally everything I learn is like kinesthetic. If I can't like physically do something, I don't learn. So the way that I learned typology the best was when I was first getting into it, I'd write things down and then I would go out and I would try and like elicit types of communication and behavior and
Hmm.
see if it was true to life, you know? Because there were some people, particularly when I first got into it, who were like almost caricatures of a type, you know?
Hmm.
So it was very easy for me to then be like, okay, well, how can I like get someone to show the demon function? You know,
Hmm.
like what sort of things do I have to do to elicit behaviors in people? And that kind of really imprinted on my brain more than anything else, more than reading or like listening to people.
Hmm.
Um, that was the main thing. And then again, everything else is just like with my hands, kinesthetic.
So you basically just saying trial and error with there, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I guess so.
yeah, interesting. Um, what insights have you learned from typology on, your trial and error there?
Mm, that things I didn't think I liked, I do like, and the behaviors I didn't understand probably have more of a place in society than the behaviors that I exhibit. Um, it's almost like, you know, like a bit like ego death, you know, in that sense. But yeah, I think that would be it.
Okay. What do you think people do wrong in society?
Okay, how long have you got, bro? You're a guy. um, Man, I think prioritizing pleasure is the biggest thing at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, that's like eroded society. You know, society, at least in the Western world, has become hedonistic to a degree where it's just like infinite degradation. That's poisonous. Um, that would extend to things like materialism and consumerism as well. I think they're big problems. I don't think there's anything like inherently wrong with them, but I think it becomes a problem when it's so ingrained in society
Hmm.
that you can't quell the degradation. You know, it's gone past the point of being able to stop it. I think that's where we're at now.
Okay. If let's say you were given a task of changing someone's life around in a year's time, if you didn't change their life around in a year, you were gonna die. How would you go about doing that?
Hmm. I'd kill them, bro. The life change around. It guarantees me the win. And no, I don't know. It depends what's wrong with their life.
I mean, like, how would you go about this? Like, depends.
Okay, like
They need to lose weight, or could be like any kind
Like,
of
let's just
problem
say
they need.
like they're um a
I'd probably
degenerate
just
drug
do it
addict.
with them, man.
Degenerate drug addict.
Oh shit. Um, I'd probably like try and incentivize them as much as possible to not go back to that. Drugs are difficult. They're going to go back to it regardless, but you want some like market improvement by the end. I'd probably do it with them too, because if I'm there doing it with them, then
Hmm.
they'll have someone to go through it with. But then I'm also more secure in the fact that they're going to be able to see some kind of like outcome at the end. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Mhm. Um, hmm. How do you deal with mm, how you deal with asshole people? That's
Sounds
a,
fuck off, you know? I don't know. It depends, man. It depends.
not that word.
Um, I don't mind confrontation, um, but then also like as you get older, you have to realize some things aren't worth like engaging with. You know,
Hmm.
I'd like make the comparison to violence. People that haven't been in a fight would be like, "Oh, bro, I'd do all this," and like in reality, you'd get stabbed. Like there's what you think is going to happen, and then there's what's actually going to happen, and experience will teach you just to leave things alone sometimes.
The experience to teach you just to leave some things alone. Um, hmm, hmm,
What's
hmm.
a skill you think everyone should have?
Something that I don't have, but I think people should have, financial literacy. I think it's a very important skill.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, I think it's something that like we don't teach kids about at a young enough age, like how money works, how credit works.
Hmm.
Because when you come into the real world, an 18-year-old can get a credit card like that, and boom, they're in debt. You know,
Hmm.
and then they get a letter from another credit card company who's seen the credits open, and then it just becomes this snowball of debt. And if we taught people how to understand money and how to deal with their money better from a younger age, then I think society would benefit.
Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I didn't receive it directly, but it was a quote I heard, and I don't remember who the quote's from. Um, it was the only people that will remember you ever did overtime are your kids. And I was a heavy workaholic for a long time, a long,
Hmm.
long time.
Hmm.
And that recontextualized things, made me kind of put the brakes on work and focus more on my kids, which was a big thing, like a massive net positive.
Hmm. Okay. What can you give us like one lesson you learned from being a chef for 7 years?
Yeah, be careful with the knife. Right. You
Yes.
see all manners of stuff, man. I mean, I've got myself a bunch. I've got like, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's like a scar on my thumb.
Hmm.
Most chefs have this. It's like a rite of passage. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Um, I think a better lesson would also be that routine is good. I
Mm.
was a person that kind of fought routine previously, and when I became a chef, I realized, oh shit, like this makes things better. You know,
Hmm.
um, yeah,
Hmm. Thomas, we done? We could put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so man, this is an interesting one, man. So you said you really like typology when you seen the value of it. I started that for interest. You talk like whenever you talk, it's like I think. So I hit you for TI. You talked about problem solving TI. Good at doing things on the fly, SENI, high SE, tactical intelligence. Hard to stick to what you had to learn to stick to what you choose. Talk about tunnel vision at a point in time, and you learn about the perspective of how you should be treating people, right? That was one thing that you struggle with, but you're learning that. So I hit that for FE inferior there. Anti-authoritarian authority, but you learned that authority exists for a reason. So that's a pragmatic thing. That's kind of what Christian has come to the conclusion of as well. It's kind of funny that he said the same thing. You said you need kinesthetic things to learn, right? That's SE. That's heavy SE. You like need heavy SE to learn anything. Um, when I asked you about like how would you change someone's life? The first thing you said is it depends, right? You didn't say like somebody asked me that, I would be trying to build a method or a system that would apply to anybody, but you're like it depends on the scenario of the person. So basically that's interest. So yeah, and we got you on like a couple journey statements here and there. So we got you down as ISTP, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, I think you typed yourself ISTP, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, that I mean, bro, the TI is just there, man.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's in abundance, and the SE is just there in abundance. Um, even when you're talking about like people getting stabbed or whatever, it was more like
Yeah.
they're not in reality and they need to fucking learn about reality. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just there, man. ISTP. So
Sweet, man.
you got any questions for us?
Um, no, man. No.
All right, well, man, I'll see you in the
Well,
community, man, and congrats. You were correct on your type, man. There's only a few people that actually write on their shit, man. So congrats to you, man.
awesome, man.
All right, man. All
All
right.
right. Cheers, guys.
Have a
See you
good one.
later.